Okay, in this video I want to introduce you to the adjective phrase. Okay, and the adjective phrase is one or more words that function as an adjective. Okay, so an adjective is a word that modifies nouns, so an adjective phrase is one or more words that get together to modify a noun. And as with all phrases, an adjective phrase has a head, which is the focus of the phrase. Okay. And for an adjective phrase, it is always an adjective. Okay. So, syntax. Let's look at syntax. And there's two forms of syntax that we talk about, and they're very similar, but so the first one, we'll do the easy one first. Pre-modifier, meaning it comes before pre-modifiers, and then the head. Okay, I'm going to put a little star because you have to have the head. It's not a very good star. Let's put some points on it. Okay, and then post-modifiers. Okay, pre means before, post means after. Okay, so pre-modifiers and post-modifiers. And I put them in the plural, but you can have 0, 1, or more than one. 0, 1, or more than one. Okay, so let's pre-modifiers and post-modifiers are usually adverbs, but not always. Okay, so very common adverb. So very cold. Okay, you can have more than one. You can have always very cold. Okay, and then again you can have, there's some adverbs that prefer to come behind the adjective. So cold enough. It was cold enough. Okay. Now, they don't always have to be adverbs. Certain adjectives like old or high or long or deep can take a noun phrase, typically of the form a number or some other indefinite determiner. So many, okay, and then a unit of measure, so years. So 7 years old, okay, many years old, a few years old. Let me see what else we have. Okay, but 6 feet deep, 3 inches long. All of these are noun phrases that are used as pre-modifiers. Okay, now the other syntax that we can have, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to move all this up a little bit. The other syntax we have is pre-modifiers plus head plus complement. Okay. And I'll put complements, although having more than one is pretty rare. Okay. And the difference between a post modifier and a complement, and one is generally its form, but it's generally generally completes the meaning of the adjective. And we'll throw some examples up to hopefully make that a little clearer. Okay. You'll recognize them. You use them all the time. You hear them all the time. So don't get too hung up on the term post modifier and complement. The complement will always be behind the head, so we can call it a special type of post modifier. But let's put a willing. Okay. Now the post modifier generally comes in one of three forms, not exclusively, but these are the three most common. One is a verb in the infinitive form, so willing to work. Okay, so to work is what he's willing to do. You can put an adverb in front of it. He is not willing to work. Okay, or he is always willing to work, or he is sort of willing to work. You know, there's different pre-modifiers you can put in to again refine the meaning of the adjective willing. Okay, you can have a prepositional phrase like good with children, good with children, good with dogs. And again, you can have not good with children, always good with children, very good with children. You can have various pre-modifiers. Okay, or not. So we have the prepositional phrase, and then we can have certain adjectives, like certain, okay, can have a that clause. So let's certain that, what are we, certain that he what? That he saw you. Okay, so that's what he's certain. So that again kind of completes that phrase. Okay, now I want to show two other forms that are very common verb phrases, and there are a lot of uncommon adjective phrases. There are a lot of uncommon adjective phrases, so I won't have time to go through all of them. But I do want to show you these because you see them fairly often. And this is the one this is one that the folks in the southern part of the United States have turned into an art form, and that's as low. Start with you add the adverb to an adjective, and then you follow it with a preposition, usually as colorful as possible. So as low as a, we use a possessive, as low as, we're going to see, as low as a snake's, okay, belly button. Okay, took me a little while to think of one that I could actually use in a G-rated video. Okay, but that'll have to do. So as low as a snake's belly button. That's pretty low. So the other form that's very common is any form that colder, any comparative form. You don't have to have a complement, although usually you generally have to, maybe not in the same sentence, but somewhere nearby, you have to make it clear what it's colder than. Okay, or you can just say it, it's colder than, in this case, yesterday. Okay, which is actually not true. Actually, it's warmer than yesterday as I'm cutting this video. Yesterday was kind of chilly. So the real quick uses. Okay, uses, and there's really two. One is to put the first one. One is to, let me make this neater. So let's put The first use is to modify a noun phrase, which is kind of an obvious one. And that noun phrase can be an object. It can be the subject. It can be an object. It can be another complement. Okay. So in this case, snakes, a snakes is a noun phrase for belly button. Okay. Or it can be used. It can be used to complement a subject. Okay. And that one sounds kind of hard, but really isn't. So we'll just, he is, or seems, or becomes, but any kind of a copular verb, and you can go look at the video on verbs to remember what copular is. He is, and then one of the complements of a copular is an adjective phrase. So he is, again, let's use the one we had up here, willing. He is willing to work. It's the sentence. Okay. And this whole thing is an adjective phrase. And that whole adjective phrase refers back to the subject of the sentence. Okay? So that's I didn't spell that right. Okay? Let's hear it for this little eraser thing here. Okay. Complement a subject. Okay? So those are either modifying a noun phrase. It was a 7-year-old whiskey. Pretty good whiskey. So, and those are the uses. And I guess I'll put that in a box. I'll make that a capital, and I'll put that in a box. Okay. So just a real quick review. An adjective phrase, one or more words that function as an adjective. The head or the focus of an adjective phrase is always an adjective. Two possible syntaxes: pre-modifier plus head plus post-modifier. Pre-modifiers is usually either an adverb or, in some cases, a noun phrase. Okay, especially if it's a measurable, an adjective that describes measurement. So high, deep, old. The others is pre-modifier plus head plus complement, and the complements are usually either the infinitive form of a verb, prepositional phrase. We've got 3 prepositional phrases here, or more rarely a that clause. And again, we can have pre-modifiers, and we can also have noun phrases. It is 2 degrees colder than yesterday. So 2 degrees would be a noun phrase. Okay, modifying colder, and that would all be one adjective phrase. So with that, I think I will stop here and go make another video.